Welcome back, guys. Been a while doing a Crossfire XCFL show. Today we have Rob,
What's up, guys?
Higgy,
What's going on, fellas?
got Jack,
For shizzle.
and the one and only JMO.
The People's Champ is back.
All right, we'll have Rob lead us off, and we'll switch it up from there. With that, Rob, first question: how is JMO on staff? No, I'm just kidding. the real first question: who is going to be the most dominant team the rest of the cycle?
The most dominant team the rest of the cycle. Well, I might as well say it. I hate to, but the Broncos, I mean, Higgy has taken this whole time to get his team set up exactly how he wants it. I know there's a little question mark at QB, but he's got a guy he believes in. That division, we don't know anything about the new Raiders owner, but, I mean, that division with Brackett, he's making a little bit of a surge, but I think it's still going to be the Broncos, so he's going to be in the running. So I think he's going to be one to watch.
All right, I like it. Higgy.
Well, I think we all kind of seen who's going to be the most dominant in last year's Super Bowl, and that's Kylo and the Bucks. Man, he finally got past Jack, and I don't think he's going to look back. And I think that dude's going to pretty much dominate the rest of the cycle. And yes, he's going to torment me next cycle as well.
Jack.
I think the Redskins are going to be the most dominant team the rest of the cycle. They haven't lost a game this entire season, and their guy controlling their controller is pretty hot right now. So if you can get past Kylo and Wings and whoever is the AFC contender, then I like the Redskins shot.
JMO.
I don't normally like copying answers, but Kylo's the easy answer. I mean, he only threw 3 interceptions all last season, and he had one eye swollen shut for reasons we won't talk about. So I think Kylo, I mean, he's coming on point. He's finally got his team built up. It wasn't very good when he got it. So gonna have to be the tiebreaker. Take the Bucks.
All right, we'll give Jack the most, going with the confidence, and he's undefeated right now. It's a good point. We'll give Higgy the 2, and we'll give Rob 1. We don't like copycats on the show, JMO. You know that.
Fair enough.
Question 2: most exciting Madden 21 division to watch. Higgy leads us off.
Well, hands down AFC West. I may not do much winning next year, but man, is it going to be fun playing in a division with Nick, Kylo, and Tosh, man. 3 of my favorite users to play against, and it may not be fun to watch me play against them, but it's going to be fun to watch all 3 of those guys battle it out.
Okay. Jack.
I'm going to go with the AFC East just because I think it's going to be a barn burner to see which 6-10 team makes the playoffs every year. No offense, Rob. But it'll be funny. I think it'll just be like an interesting dynamic with like a bunch of, maybe not as good a users are going to try to be a little bit PC here. But obviously they got a couple good trash talkers in there and a couple guys that I think could possibly like do well, but it's just not a very good division.
JMO.
Well, it's going to be the NFC East, man. I mean, we have the most dominant player of the rest of this cycle in Jack, and getting that Jack and Josh rivalry.
Did you already fold? Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah, adding a VBD there, even though the team's going to be trash, and the question mark team. I think that's going to be a really good division. It'd be fun to watch.
Rob.
I'm going to go AFC North. I mean, you've got Wings, who kind of surprised everybody, I think, a little bit by taking Cincinnati. Of course, he's a big LSU fan, so he gets Burrow. There's been some rumors that he's going to try to pluck as many LSU players as he can and bring them to Cincinnati. Of course, you've got Brackett, who's already been in trade discussions with about 6 or 7 coaches already, so we're gonna see what kind of bracket we get. Will we be forced to keep the Ravens together? But that'll be kind of an interesting division, I think, to see what happens.
I like it. We'll go with Jack. Jack gets the full again. We'll give JMO
You
2.
got to do it because we already had JMO crumble like a bunch of breadcrumbs
No,
on his first answer.
JMO scoops 2 there, and then Higgy gets 1. Brings us to question 3. Which Madden 21 team roster plus GM combo, now that we know who's where, which team / GM combo is destined to fail? And Jack leads us off.
Wow, destined to fail. I totally read that wrong. I was thinking it was going to be destined to succeed. Destined to fail. Wow. I'm actually going to go with Wings on this one, just because Wings is a really good player. But the Bengals, like they just like, I mean, they're going to be terrible. You got to think. I mean, Joe Burrow will be good, and I guess they have a few other good pieces, but I just think it's going to be, it's tougher to, like Madden, like, I mean, it's a lot. I mean, the user is obviously key, but having good players is also important, and I think he's going to struggle a little bit more than he thinks he will, or that we think he will.
JMO.
This is an easy one, man. It's going to be Regan and the Seahawks. We gave him the monster Ravens, and he disappointed. Now he's going to get the Seahawks. He doesn't have quite as much talent on that team, and he's not going to be able to trade away superstars to bring in some more talent. So I think he's going to end up finishing second, a whole lot in that West.
Rob.
As much as I like this guy, I'm going to say VBD and the Giants. I know he got Barkley. I know he thinks the world of Barkley. He's coming off of a really hot M20 where, statistically he threw up probably his best Madden yet. But, man, he's got Jack in there. He's got Josh in there. Josh has got his, Cowboys again. Eagles are up in the air. I think that's going to be a real challenge for him.
Dang, so you said you played him all year, and he's got nothing for the NFC East. Not impressed. Biggie.
I do think this one is easy, and I think it's the Denver Broncos, because I've got a good roster next year, but 3 tough guys who you can probably count on one hand how many times I beat all 3 of them. So I'm going to get a lot of losses in that division.
Okay, we'll go. We'll give JMO the 3. I like it. Rob 2 and Higgy 1. I feel like the Bengals are pretty close to the team Wings got in here, or am I just wrong? I mean, he's got a young quarterback, and he had
I think Brent's team was pretty good, but
Brent's team was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, Brian Burns at outside linebacker or whatever.
Oh, true. Number 4 is a 5+ Super Bowl cycle, the most we will ever see, and it's JMO.
Oh, this should be easy. So no one can copycat me on the answers, and it's basically yes, no. So, yeah, man, there's no way that someone's going to be able to top 5 in a season because we put in, I think we're on like season 13 or 12. And so we're going to get 14 in, but unless we get COVID all year next year, we're not going to top it. So I think the divisions are real tough with like 2 superpower divisions. So I don't think people are really going to be able to make those pushes like this year.
Rob?
Well, it's not a copycat league, so I'll take the opposite. I think COVID could resurface, and we could end up with 20 seasons next cycle. And who knows, out of that AFC West, one team's liable to get hot and win 4 or 5 in a row and then fall to the bottom. That's going to be wild and crazy in the NFC East and the AFC West. So I think it's possible.
Higgy?
Possible, yes. And the reason I say that is because I've been in here long enough to know guys like Jack, and Kylo seems to be the same way. And those guys are competitive and will not rest until they break some of those records, and they're good enough to do it. So I think we're going to see it next cycle. I don't know about that, but in the future, I think we'll see it.
Jack?
I'm not even just going to say next cycle. I think it gets done before Madden 20 ends. I think we got a certain somebody who's going to be the most dominant player the rest of the cycle. And I see him winning 3 straight and also getting to 5 this cycle.
Dang. Man,
Wow.
this has been the toughest episode, top to bottom. Don't you think, JMO?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I really like that answer. I'll be honest with you.
Wow. We'll make our own rules. Jack 3, everyone else scoops 2 right there, because that was good stuff, top to bottom. Question 5: what single rookie player is the most exciting for Madden 21? And I think it's back to Rob.
Yeah, it's back to me, and it's no question Isaiah Simmons. Cardinals were high on everybody's draft board because of him. He is going to be one of those special, unique linebackers that you have yet to see come out of the draft in M20. He's probably looking at about 92, 93 speed. He's going to be a good coverage linebacker. He's going to be one to watch, so he'll have a big season.
Higgy.
I'm going with my my Bronco, KJ Hamler. You know, he was second round pick. He's exactly the type of player that I want. And like I've already said on this episode, I expect to do a lot of losing next cycle, so that means a lot of throwing. And I expect that guy to do big things in M21.
Jack.
I'm going to follow Higgy's lead and go with my own guy with Chase Young. I think with the new introduction to like the pass rush moves and all that, and obviously I feel like he's going to be ranked pretty high with like good moves, and if he can develop, like I think he will, like I think he could be a stud in that new. I mean, obviously we don't really know what's going to happen, but it sounds like they're going to try to revamp it, and I think he could be a stud because of it.
Do you think if he's like amazing, either him or Sweat's amazing, would you trade the other and just have one dominant guy?
I mean, I'm always down for trades, you know that.
Who's your guy, JMO?
Chase Claypool on the Steelers, man. He's coming out. Big guy, like 6'4", 235, ran a 4.4 40. Everyone's comparing him to Megatron. And that's like my type of receiver. I like giants that are fast. So that'd be like right up my alley as someone that I think would be really exciting to use.
We'll go JMO 3.
Yes.
Higgy 2, Rob 1.
Did you want to hear my backup answer?
No. Yeah, what is it?
It was Andrew Thomas, because offensive line is going to matter next year.
Oh, yeah, you would have lost points for that for sure. All right, who's it? Higgy on this one?
Yeah.
All right, Higgy, which swerve was bigger? Kylo swerving the Eagles after his podcast saying he was 100% going Eagles, or Drew swerving Brian?
Drew swerving Brian for me personally, because I knew where Kylo was going long before his podcast, so that to me personally wasn't as big. But Drew, man, he's all bark, no bite, man. He talks big game, and then when it came down to the moment, he caved and he went the easy route.
Jack.
Man, I got to go with Kylo. I mean, because that was a dagger for me, just because I think him being in our division would have obviously made our division really fun. It's still going to be fun, but I think having another good user in the NFC East would have been a blast for a whole cycle.
Wait, are you saying there's no good users on the wait list?
Define good.
JMO.
Man, I was gonna say Drew, because I was trash talking to him about joining my division with Brian. But thinking about it, yeah, Kylo said he wanted to play the best, yet he passed on a division with the most dominant player of the rest of the cycle in it. So it's got to be Kylo.
He went to Tosh and
Thank you.
Were they before him, or did Tosh go to his?
Kylo went to Tosh's.
Yeah, so he didn't like swerve talent. He just swerved the Eagles.
Well, he swerved Jack.
Yeah. Rob.
Biggest swerve was definitely the move that Drew put on. He talked a lot of talk. He called him out. He did everything in his power, and then when he had the opportunity to pull the trigger, he curled up in the fetal position.
I like it. I'm gonna go +1 on everyone there. I like it. It was all good stuff. Man, this episode is gonna be brutal. Question 7: Can the JMO led Bucks get a Super Bowl finally for old coach JMO before TB12 leaves? And that is, I think it's Jack. Yeah, Jack.
Oh man, absolutely. JMO's quietly a really, really good user in the league, even dating back to last Madden. And having that like offense, I mean, he's going to put up points. He's always been a good defensive user. He's going to be able to control Devin White in the middle back there. He's got good pieces like Murphy's bunting, and he's going to have what's the pass rusher's name that led the league last year? He's going to be
Barrett.
a stud. Barrett. But I think there's just good pieces all the way around that he's going to be able to step in that first season and really surprise people.
JMO.
Bro, absolutely not. Unless Tom Brady doesn't throw interceptions, I cannot get out of my own way. There is no chance.
Rob.
I think it's definitely possible as long as he's got Brady, and that team looks good. Defensively looks good. It's going to be young and fast. And on offense, he's going to have some weapons. He's got his big, tall guy in Evans. So I think it's very possible.
Higgy.
Possible, but not before Brady retires. I mean, I think Brady could possibly retire after year 1. Definitely by year 2. I think JMO can do it, but I don't know if he'll do it in the first two seasons.
All right.
It's a pretty quietly good division too. Like Butter's better than people think, and obviously like Prince and Brian are both pretty solid guys. It is a tough division.
I probably won't even make the playoffs with Brady. Let's be honest.
Everybody scoops a point, but JMO there. Question 8: top 3 players from this cycle, and it's JMO.
Is it
Like
players or players in the game?
Players in the game.
All right. Well,
if it was users, I would have said user. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we got Kyle's quarterback Nance, who just won MOP, throwing like 2 picks last year. So I think he's got to be in there. Saquon Barkley's has been dominant all cycle. He's going to break all the rushing records, which I think we would have thought were going to be untouchable. And I'm going to do a little self-promoting. My cornerback, CJ Harding, is now in the top 10 in interceptions, and he's only been in the league 5 years. So he's got 47 picks in 5 years. The leader has 90 and 13. He's on pace to be the best cornerback of all time.
Whoa. Rob.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with 3. One of them's the same, and that's in Saquon Barkley. I crunched some numbers today, and he's 96 yards away from beating Emmitt Smith's all-time rushing record. He's thrown up 212 touchdowns rushing, added another 13 receiving. He's definitely been the gold standard in running back. I'm going to throw a pass rusher on there. I know everybody says, well, yeah, but we had all the superhero powers early, but Joey Bosa has 327 sacks on his career, which is just phenomenal. And I know we took away the powers and that lowered those numbers, but still, that's an incredible number for sacks. And last but not least, I mean, if we want to talk about the gold standard at corner, Ark Zellner. Say what you want, but 50 interceptions, 8 touchdowns. Sounds like Harding's getting close. But, I mean, compared to everybody else, he's definitely set the bar.
Higgy finishes, or no, not yet. Higgy?
Well, I know we don't like repeating, but I'm going to go with my top one. It's got to be Nance. I mean, in his shorter time that he's going to have in this league, he's going to put up numbers that, I mean, we've never seen. And what he's done is pretty impressive. I got to go with my boy Titus Shaw. Great story. Was up there in the final running for the Man of the Year award. Has had a great career. 5th-round pick, turned to a stud. And then I'm going to go with another underdog just because he's at a position that don't get much love, and you won't hear me compliment this guy too much. So I'm glad this is on record. But Ahmad Bates, man. That dude's been a monster. The Man of the Year winner and just the sacks that guy has had for a D tackle is pretty impressive.
I like it. Jack, close us out on this one.
Yeah, like I think it's fairly easy. I think these guys got it right with Nance. He's been unbelievable. Kylo's really done a great job with him. I'm going to go with Taj Beverly, the receiver for the 49ers. I think like it's easy to look past the Raymond guy with St. Louis just because all Boone ever does is run commit. So he gets the ball and gets to run more plays than everybody. Nick does a good job playing realistically and still gets those kind of stats. And then my third guy, I'm going to go with Derwin James. I don't have this exact stat in front of me, but that dude was an absolute monster for like 10 seasons, forcing at least 10 fumbles like every year. Like it was just incredible, like how powerful that guy was. So those are my three.
All right, I'm gonna give 2 to JMO, Jack, and Higgy. Rob scoops 3 for the deep dive on the stats there.
Boom. Yep.
Number 9. Which division for Madden 21 is most likely to send a 7-9 team to playoffs consistently? And that is, who's it? Back to Rob.
7-9 team to the playoffs. You know, I guess we could talk about the AFC East next year as being a strong possibility. I reckon Boone. You know, they're probably going to be the top of that division, but don't sleep on Willinger. That guy's pretty good. But there's going to be seasons where we're going to be playing some of these powerhouse. AFC West is where we start, and it's going to be tough to get out of conference wins. So probably the East.
Higgy.
I'm going with the AFC South, man. The East is a close second, but I feel like they've got just a little better talent. The AFC South to me seems like the one of the easier divisions, and those guys are all pretty equal though. So it's gonna be a fun division to watch. But it would not surprise me to see those guys come out with a 7-9 division champion.
Jack.
I'm going to switch this up a little bit. I know that the question was 7-9, so I don't see any of the AFC East teams ever winning 7 games. So they're going to get in with maybe 5 or 6 wins, and then
I'll take it.
I'm actually going to go with the AFC West because I see a scenario where they get 3, if not 4, if Madden will allow it, teams into the playoffs, and it could be in a season where they do play like the NFC East, and you know everybody's just beating everybody, and the records don't look as great, and someone gets in there with 7.
Okay, so you said AFC West, right?
Yep.
JMO.
My answer's sort of going to suck here because I was going to say the AFC East is going to send someone 7-9, but the big surprise will be the AFC South sending someone 6-10.
We gotta go. We'll go point on everyone for that. It brings us into the last few questions here. What would be the most interesting thing XCFL could add next cycle? And that is on Higgy.
The most interesting thing, man, I would just love to see them add more in-depth scouting. That would be. I know guys posted some graphics in the main chat.
No, XCFL.
And to me, XCFL. Okay. Yeah, that threw me for a loop. I read that one wrong.
That one's coming.
Yeah. Most exciting thing for the XCFL. I think I want to go back to the. We got Grizz back in it, so we should be able to do it. But I want to see us go back to the All-Star game. That was awesome. When you left, we kind of went away from that. I'd like to see that and see some cool things come out of that.
Nice. I sold my 360 and NCAA, but I'm with you. Jack.
I'm gonna go with just like our own personal like development and rating system. I think it would take a while, but I mean we play this game so much anyway. Like, what's an extra couple minutes a night? But I think if we did our own like developments at the end of the season, like bumping up our own guys and taking down guys, like regressing guys, if they're going to have the regression be the same. But also on top of that, like give guys like maybe the player of the week gets a +1 and a choice of 3 different categories or something like that, where just you get more incentive and you get more attribute boosts or regression, kind of like through the XCFL and not just strictly through Madden.
JMO.
I do like that idea, Jack. I think that depending on how Scenario Engine plays out, you never know, right? I think 2 things that I was really looking at. First, the ability to have 3 first-round picks. Man, how many times I could have had 3 this year, it would have been sweet. Instead, I'm taking second-round picks. Second, I'd really like to see abilities on, assuming that they work right.
You should have stopped after 3 first-round picks.
Assuming they work right. I don't know.
You should have just stopped after you said my idea was good.
They're fresh out of the lab.
Rob.
Well, what I had didn't really have anything to do with the gameplay or the way we had everything set up, but I am still pushing pretty heavily for an XCFL meetup. Get everybody together. Maybe we could do the team draft at that particular event. I think that would be really exciting. And just get a chance to kind of meet everybody and see how that's going. So that was my saying.
Okay, I'm going to go Higgy and JMO with 2, Rob and Jack with 3 on that one. We'll send someone home after this question, and it's super tight if I added it right. Who is your vote for XCFL Hall of Fame this cycle? And I think it would be Jack starting us off.
I think the easy answer is Tosh. So I'm going to let someone else choose him. I'm going to go with Rob. I think obviously the XCFL is not just about how good you are on the actual controller, but how vital of a member you are, how good you are with content, how fun you make the league. Basically how little you're an asshole is the first rule. And I think Rob is the best in a lot of those categories. And he's been here for a while now, so my vote would go to Rob.
JMO.
I'm going to go with the easiest one to pick on. I think it would have to be Reagan with all the stuff he's doing he does all of our streams. He does, well, not all now with Kylo in, but he does a lot of our streams, does the production for the draft show, does a lot of live shows, like stuff like that, brings people in. Say what you will about his commentary. If you can understand it, sometimes it's pretty interesting. So that would be my vote.
Rob.
Well, I'm going to, Jack left it open, so I'm going to take Tosh. I mean, he obviously, from the playing standpoint, has showed that he's just as good as anybody in the league, winning the Super Bowls. But there's also a lot of stuff he does. People can ask him questions, and he'll answer questions and try to help. And, I mean, he does a lot of stuff like that I know means a lot to a lot of different people. And, Jack, thanks for what you said. That was pretty cool.
No, I did.
Higgy.
Well, this question is a tough one to go last on because, Mama taught me never to lie. Mama taught me never to lie, so I've got to go. I agree with Jack. I got to go with Rob for all the reasons that he already said. Top on content, availability, sportsmanship. I mean, it is much more than winning, and Rob covers all those bases.
Is anyone cutting onions in here?
All right, you won't believe this, but I mean, when I go back and try to add these scores, who knows? But we got a 17, 18, 19, 20 scoreboard right now. So at 20, we got Jack. Oh, and by the way, everybody got 3 points on that last question. JMO has 19 points. And coming in with 18 points, we got Higgy. So, Rob, that you might make the Hall of Fame, but you're not continuing on Crossfire.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob.
Go Bills.
Thanks for being on. It was awesome.
See you, buddy.
2 more questions. We'll get rid of one person each time. Madden 21 would be great if they just ... And that would be, who's it, JMO?
Yeah. Yep. Bro, this is the easiest one. The easiest question. Mad 21 would be great if they just let Deuce Douglas work remote. He had put all that stuff out on Twitter. Supposedly they had offered him a job, but he had to move to Florida, so he turned it down. They just let him do his thing, help produce the whole franchise mode with all of his screenshots, all the well thought out, fleshed out ideas he put together. If they just let him work and were able to do some of the things he wanted to do, I think we would have the best game possible.
Nice. I don't even know who that is, but that was a well thought out
Oh,
answer.
I'll send you his Twitter. It's crazy.
Higgy.
Man, I already kind of spilled one of the features I would like them to add, but I'm going to go even further for this question and say Madden 21 would be great if they would just go away from EA altogether. Sell out, go to someone else, and give someone else a shot, because EA clearly just isn't cutting it for what we want to see.
Jack?
I think it would be a little better if they just spent some time on franchise mode. They do everything for Mutt and for face of the franchise, and all they do so many like stupid little things like Tom Brady dapping people up on the sideline, and there's all those things that like nobody cares about after the first week they play the game, and then you're stuck with the same game over and over again, especially when you're doing franchise. I just think if they spent a little time on it, gave the commissioner some control over some things, it would just we'd be way better off in the long run.
I'm going to go J-Mo the full 3. Higgy and Jack both scoop 2. So that's going to put Higgy at the bottom for that round. If you want. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Stay around for the last question, and you can be the judge.
Okay.
You pick the winner. Last question. What first-time Super Bowl champ would you want to see the most? And I think it's Jack.
I'm going to go with Rob, to be honest. I think a lot of people would like to see Rob, first of all, like make the playoffs. But I think it would just be awesome for our league if someone like that actually won the Super Bowl. It would, obviously mean a lot for him, but I think it would mean a lot for league just because of how good of a member, like I said, with all our Hall of Fame stuff, how good of a member Rob is, how awesome he is to be in the league, how easy he is to schedule games with, all that same stuff. I just think it would mean a lot for our league and, the parity and all that going forward. So my vote's for Rob.
J-Mo.
All right. Well, I see Jack last time gave up the easy answer, and this time did not. But he didn't. He gave me the easy answer. I think the biggest first-time Super Bowl winner would be Smooth Grizzly with the Eagles in Madden 21. Our content master, Crossfire champion, brings it back, gets the Eagles, and runs it all the way to the championship.
All right, Higgy. Who do you got? I think Rob, are you still here?
I think it sounds like you bailed out.
All comes down to Higgy. Oh, there's
Well,
Yeah, I'm back.
all right, Rob, who's your vote? Did you hear the answers?
Oh, yeah, I guarantee it. Jack all the way. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Higgy, who you got?
I got to go Jack.
Oh, thank God. I didn't want to break a tie.
Override him. Override him. People stamp the belt.
You couldn't give J-Mo the win after the very first question, pick something, and then the entire rest of the game, he's totally blow-ratting your boy. Like he's going to be the most dominant player the rest of the cycle.
I don't know if it was that or it was like
Unbelievable.
low-key shade.
Just crumble, just like a Tetris board that you missed a piece, just falls to the ground so quickly.
Well, this was a great episode. Jack, you get your 10 seconds of fame or whatever.
Sweet. I mean, I'm not even gonna take it because I feel like I didn't deserve this win. I win too much at everything. So
Always the humble one.
it's part of my shtick, like.
That was probably top to bottom the best episode. That was so hard. Everyone came ready, and so I appreciate the work you guys put into that because every question was well thought out.
No problem.
Awesome job, Johnny, putting it together.
Yeah,
Appreciate you
well
having me
done,
on.
All right, we'll We'll catch you guys next time.
Adios, fellas.
All right.
See you guys.
See ya.
Thanks, Grizz.